Tonight, we be breaking down a Thursday night football matchup that looks like a blowout on the scoreboard but tells a much stranger story when you dig into the stats. The final was Baltimore Ravens 28, Miami Dolphins 6. But if you think the Ravens just dominated from start to finish, you'd be wrong. This game was a masterclass in efficiency versus collapse, a statistical illusion where total yards were nearly identical. So, how did a game so close on paper end in a 22-point blowout? Let's get into it. The first half was bizarre. If you were just watching the flow of the game, you would have sworn Miami was the better team. They outgained the Ravens 226 yards to just 109. Yet, at halftime, they were trailing 14-6. Why? A catastrophic failure to execute when it mattered most. This game wasn't won or lost on long, explosive plays. It was decided in the trenches on third down and, most importantly, inside the 20-yard line. Let's look at the three metrics that defined this entire game. First, the red zone. This was the single biggest difference maker. The Ravens were a perfect 4-4-4 inside the red zone, scoring a touchdown every single time they got there. Dolphins, a brutal 0-4-3, coming away with 0 points from their red zone trips. Next, the turnover battle. The Ravens offense played a completely clean game, 0 turnovers. The Dolphins, on the other hand, coughed it up 3 times, all in crucial situations that either killed scoring drives or handed the Ravens points on a silver platter. And finally, third down conversions. Baltimore kept drives alive, converting a respectable 38% of their third downs. Miami's offense was completely stifled, converting a miserable 17%. Efficiency versus collapse, that was the story. A huge part of that Ravens efficiency was the emphatic return of Lamar Jackson. After missing 3 games with a hamstring injury, he came back looking surgically precise. He finished 18 of 23 for 204 yards and 4 touchdowns with no interceptions. He said, post-game, it's do or die. And he played like it. He was a surgeon, not a sprinter, rushing only 5 times but dissecting the Dolphins' defense with his arm. He spread the love, hitting tight end Mark Andrews for 2 touchdowns. And also finding Charlie Kohler and Rashad Bateman for scores. But the engine that made it all run was Derrick Henry. He absolutely controlled the game's tempo, wearing down that Miami defense with 19 carries for 119 punishing yards during the game. He also made history, becoming just the 17th player ever to surpass 12,000 career rushing yards. Henry's dominance is why Baltimore controlled the clock for nearly 32 minutes, keeping Miami's offense on the sideline and their own defense fresh. It was a classic Ravens formula. Control the clock with the run, and let your quarterback pick his spots with deadly accuracy. Now, let's flip to the other side. The Miami Dolphins and their night of failed opportunities. They put up 332 total yards and 17 first downs, but all that production translated to just 2 field goals. Tua Tagovailoa's stat line was the definition of empty yards. 25, 44, 261 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. The offense just crumbled under a wave of miscues and misfortune. Let's walk through the chronology of their collapse. They had 5 separate drives that got inside the Ravens' 35-yard line and came away with only 6 points. On their second possession, a fumble deep in their own territory set the Ravens up at the 4-yard line for an easy touchdown. Then, after a long 62-yard drive, a false start penalty on 4th and 1 pushed them back, leading to a missed 35-yard field goal. Late in the first half, they went for it on 4th and 2 in the red zone, but a miscommunication between Tua and running back Devon Kane resulted in an incompletion. The self-inflicted wounds just kept coming. Even in the fourth quarter, trailing 28-6, Tua led an 80-yard drive, converting to 4th downs along the way. But just as they reached the Ravens' 10-yard line, another fumble evaporated any hope of a comeback. The final nail in the coffin was Tua's last drive, ending with an overthrown deep ball that was picked off. It was a perfect summary of their night. Move the ball between the 20s, but completely fall apart when it mattered. After a clunky first half, the Ravens came out of the locker room and just put the game away. They opened the third quarter with a soul-crushing 11-play, 68-yard drive that ate up over 8 minutes of clock, ending in another Jackson touchdown. Lamar was on fire, completing his first 9 passes of the second half. That drive broke Miami's will. This one completely changes the Ravens' season. Before the game, their playoff chances were hovering around 37%. With this victory, they've jumped to 60%. At 3-5, they're now just 1 game behind the first-place Steelers in the AFC North. A season that looked like it was slipping away is suddenly right back on track, thanks to one of the most statistically bizarre, yet decisive, wins you'll see all year. What a fascinating game to break down. Let me know your biggest takeaways in the comments below. What do you think this means for the Ravens and Dolphins going forward? Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this analysis, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content all season long. We'll see you in the next one.